tailored styling, accommodating cabin, composed handling, and refined ride, the Passat will very likely impress you on a test drive. So, let's go ahead and check out this 2015 VW Passat. Now, essentially, the only thing new for 2015 is that the Passat TDI receives an updated engine that boasts 10 more horsepower and slightly better fuel efficiency than the previous one. Other changes are pretty minor, consisting chiefly of minor equipment shuffling. Now, as far as styling goes on the Passat, I think it's very elegant, very restrained too, and it's probably one of the boringest looking designs in the class. I have to say it's even more boring than the Toyota Camry, but that's not to say it's all bad. It's just that it's a very restrained and classy car. It's not trying to scream out, and it's not trying to look for head turns either. Now, ours we have here is in the titanium beige exterior color, and I think it looks quite classy and handsome in this exterior color. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of beige, but it works for me on the Passat. And then this is actually in the SE trim, and it comes with a 1.8 liter turbo 4-cylinder. Now here's the key fob design for the vehicle. As you can see, it's a regular old VW key, but I do like how it is switchblade. And then you have your lock, unlock to release your trunk, and then your panic button is on the side right here. Now it is a titanium beige exterior color, like I said, with a black leatherette interior. And they do a pretty good job imitating leather. And here's your power driver's seat controls, your power lumbar, and your power recline. Now stepping on into the interior, like I said, the Passat has a pretty accommodating cabin. Push button ignition is available. And in order to start the vehicle, you actually have to put your foot on the brake and then twist the key. Now coming to your transmission, you have a 6-speed automatic called the DSG transmission, and it has somewhat sluggish throttle response, but you do have manual shiftability, no paddle shifters, which is becoming very increasingly common in mid-sizers. Putting the vehicle into reverse also displays your rear view camera with guidance lines. LED turn signal indicators integrated onto the mirrors. 17-inch alloy wheels. Halogen headlights. Don't expect to find anything like HIDs available or even LED daytime running lights. Under the hood here you will find the bread and butter powertrain, which is the 1.8 liter inline 4-cylinder, producing 170 horses with 184 pound-feet of torque, producing EPA numbers of 24 in the city and 36 on the highway. Now, a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel is also available on the Passat. And standard on the 1.8, you get a 5-speed manual with the 6-speed automatic being optional. And then a 3.6-liter V6 is also available if you want the most power out of the Passat. Now, this powertrain isn't really that class-leading, I have to say. The EPA numbers are actually okay for the class, and the horsepower ratings are okay as well. However, if you step up to the V6, that is more class-leading than this powertrain. But like I said, this is the bread and butter powertrain you're going to get in the Passat. Now, pricing of the Passat starts at the S model, which starts at $21,120. And then you have the Wolfsburg edition, which starts at $24,135. Then you have the SE trim, like how we have here, which starts at $26,020. Then you have the Sport model, which starts at $26,635. SEL Premium, which starts at $31,475. Then you have the TDI, which starts at $26,825. And then going up to the TDI SEL Premium, starts at $33,585. Lots of trims of the Passat. Now, competitors of this midsizer ranges from, as you all may know, the Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, Nissan Altima, Chevrolet Malibu, Subaru Legacy, Mazda 6, many competitors in this class. as well as the all-new Chrysler 200, Hyundai Sonata, and the Kia Optima. You also do have styling cues taken from the smaller VW Jetta, especially when coming into the rear. Now, like I said, EPA estimates are at 24 in the city and 36 on the highway. Total vehicle price is at $27,110. Power windows, power mirrors, power door locks, of course. Nice soft touch armrests and soft touch on the mid door panel and on the upper door panel as well. Great German quality. And let's go ahead and rev up that turbo 4-cylinder and see how she sounds. Very nice. Now, build quality and materials in the Passat are actually pretty good. They're pretty good for the class. And like I said, everything is pretty soft to the touch and everything fits well together. Everything is very well built. You have a nice soft touch dashboard as well. However, there is a little bit of cost cutting here that VW, like in the past, wouldn't cost cut on, especially like these hard touch materials, and some of the plastics are slightly flimsy, but everything for the most part is very well put together. It's better than other cars in the mid-size class. Now, I have to say, what makes this interior less Spartan is that it has this nice aluminum brush trim going throughout the whole entire cabin. If it didn't have that, this interior would look pretty Spartan, in my opinion. Now, coming down here, you have a little storage cubby right there, a 12-volt power outlet, cup holders right here, and another little storage cubby right there. Now, one complaint I do have is that the armrest doesn't slide or adjust, and it's actually kind of hard, I have to say. While it is soft touch, it doesn't have enough padding for your elbows, but you do have stitching, and it is pretty high quality. It just needs a little bit more padding to make it more comfortable. But the center console is pretty small compared to some other mid-sizers. You do have your auxiliary input down there, a 12-volt power outlet. Now, coming to the main head unit here, this head unit I'm not a huge fan of, but they do have an upgraded head unit available. However, I do like it way better than their base stock radio head unit. The touchscreen is also pretty responsive. It's just the graphics and rendering are just very dated. You have satellite radio too, AM, FM, your optical disc drive, your different media options including Bluetooth streaming audio. You have your phone right there and your setup. You can delete your presets from right here. Factory settings, change the language, different settings for this series, satellite radio. And you can also change the display, like the brightness and the touchscreen tone. But the responsiveness of this system is superb, and I think that's the most important part about a head unit. It's also pretty easy to tune as well. Doesn't require a lot of steps like how it is in some other German cars. Now, also, what I really like about this cabin is that there's an analog clock, which definitely gives it a much more elegant and classy feel, I have to say. Now, coming up here, you do have a manual dimming rearview mirror, SOS Safety Connect, sunglass container, interior illumination lighting. Now, coming to seating comfort, the seats are extremely comfortable. The nice right amount of thigh support and side bolstering as well as cushion to them. And I found a perfect, very comfortable driving position. Now, coming to visibility, visibility is also very superb with lots of glass area all around and large mirrors as well. And it's very easy to see out of with all of this glass area. Coming to the steering wheel design, I've never really been a big fan of this steering wheel design, other than the only thing I like about it is that it does have a pretty nice feel in your hands, and it is very thick as well, and it is leather wrapped too, of course. However, just the way the buttons are laid out and the way they look, it just looks very plain and boring looking to me. But over here you do have your Bluetooth phone controls, your voice recognition, and steering wheel mounted audio controls. And then over here is these set of buttons over here are actually going to control your center screen right there and all of the vehicle information, which I will get to in just a second. Now you also do have a manual tilt and telescopic steering wheel. Outward visibility in this car is also pretty good too. Now, one couple of features that the Passat is really lacking is safety features. Don't expect to find anything like blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, forward collision warning, none of the safety technologies besides a backup camera. Now, that is definitely a huge con for some, especially in the mid-size sedan segment. This is a very competitive segment. But overall, the best thing I have to say about the cabin is the roominess and the comfort of it, and the pretty good build quality as well. The head unit, well, it's very responsive and everything. It can use a little work when it comes to its rendering and its graphics. Alright, and let's go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rear seat passenger space and the trunk capacity as well. And I love how when you open up the trunk lifts all the way up. That's a very nice feature to have. The rear seats also do fold down by pulling those levers right there. Very large trunk. Materials and build quality do follow through in the rear. Thankfully they didn't cheapen out. Still nice soft touch armrests, soft touch on mid door panel and on the upper door panel too. And one thing I do love about the Passat is that it has a very solid feeling when you close and open the doors. So that has that German solidity. Now sitting back here, this seat is actually all the way back, and I have still enough room back here to be very, very comfortable, especially on a long road trip. And here are your rear air vents right here. Center folding armrests with cup holders. The seats back here are also just as comfortable as the front. Great thigh support even for the second row, and the seats have the nice right amount of cushion, and they have very good support. Very nice amount of side bolstering too, even back here. We also do have dual mat pockets as well. Full manual passenger seat. Your glove box, nice and damp. Alright. Set apart by its European styling refinement, its great quality, and a roomy interior, as well as a fuel-efficient diesel engine option, the 2015 Volkswagen Passat is a solid choice for a family sedan. However, its lack of available technologies make it a con for some. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.